What's up, y'all? It's Breakpoint. Tonight we're going to show you how to make pho. Traditional pho is made overnight. Typically you want to do it within a 24-hour period to get the best taste and flavor out of the broth. But what we're going to be using is called Phở Bò. And when you want to make it, I like using oxtail. It's typically bone broth, but oxtail is going to give you the best. And then we got this from Sam's Club, or you can get it from Costco. You have to ask the butcher. It's called Prime Top Cap Sirloin. Prime's a little more expensive. You can always do USDA grade as well. Prime is going to give you more flavor. But since we have this, we're going to come over here. I'm just going to dump the Top Cap Sirloin and the oxtail into a pot of boiling water. And then we're going to let that cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. And it won't do anything. It won't lose any of the flavor, so don't worry about that. You're just getting the impurities and all of the bad fat out of the bone broth. And what we're going to do afterwards, I'll show you here in a sec. You're going to just clean the bones off. But like I said, this won't lose any of the flavor. You're just getting all the impure stuff out. All right, welcome back. So it's been boiling for about, I let it boil for about 10 minutes. So now what you do, you take it off. You're going to empty all of the water out. And I'm using a strainer here. My cameraman wants to come over and check it out. Well, like I said, this will not ruin the flavor at all. You're cleaning off the impurities, all of the nasty stuff, because you want your broth. Okay, so once you drained all of the water from the pot, obviously rinse your pot out and give it a little clean. That way none of the impurities are stuck on it. So you take the bones and you give them a rinse in cold water. This is just getting the bad stuff off yet again. We're not losing any flavor, I promise you guys. My family's been doing this for a while. Okay, so you can see all of the nastiness has been cleared off of the bone broth. And so now what you're going to do, once everything is in the pot, you just fill it up with water again. Don't fill it too high, because if you boil it, it'll start boiling over. So probably about right here is going to be good. All right, so once you filled the pot up with water, go ahead and place that on the burner. You're going to let it boil for a bit. Also, put an onion in there. That'll give it an extra bit of flavor. Also, when it starts boiling, you're going to see some extra stuff that comes out on top. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your ladle and you're going to scrape it off, put it in a little bowl or something on the side. And after this, we're going to show you how to make the aroma. All right, folks, now this is how you make the aroma. So what you're going to do is you're going to slice ginger. It's about thumb size, right? You're going to have 3 Star Anise, 2 cinnamon sticks, 3 Black Cardamom, and then an additional onion. All right, so now that you have the aroma, what I did was cut the onion. I peeled it, obviously. You're going to throw them in a skillet, or you can do it right on your stovetop, depending on what kind of stovetop you have, and just char them. And that's how you're going to get the pho aroma. And afterwards, after you char them actually, what you're going to do is you're going to grab a tea bag or a piece of cheesecloth and then wrap it up. And then we'll let that char and we'll show you how it looks in just a sec. Okay, now that all of the spices are charred like this, what you're going to do with the onions, you're going to try to scrape off as much of the black stuff as possible, because it's going to turn your broth dark, and you don't want that. That's not a sign of good pho if it's dark like that. So try to get as much of it off as you can. All right, so now once that you scraped off as much as possible, you're just going to add it directly into the broth. Same thing with the ginger. But for the spices, like I said earlier, you're going to want to wrap it up in either a tea bag or some cheesecloth. And then after you're done tying it up, all you do is just throw it in the pot. just like that. And then make sure, mix it in. That way it gets a pretty deep in there. And the spices will cook a lot better and you'll get it a lot more fragrant. Okay, so as this is boiling, after about 90 minutes, it hasn't been 90 minutes yet, but I'm just informing you, after about 90 minutes, you're going to want to take the beef that you put in, not the oxtail, but the top cap sirloin that we put in, we're going to take it out to prevent it from overcooking. And we also saved the other half and we have it in the refrigerator. We coated it with salt. That way the flavor will come out and it'll be juicier when we cook it. Because we in this house like rare pho, rare steak, and medium rare steak. We don't like this well done stuff, but we put it in there for flavor and the people that do like well done. But like I said, after about 90 minutes, take out the onions. You don't want it to get the broth to get too dark. Okay, so it's important to note that when you are cooking pho, you want to simmer it. You don't want to boil it. You bring it to a boil and then you simmer it. And then while it's boiling, or while it's simmering, sorry, you want to skim off the fat, and that way you'll keep a clear broth. And then you remove the beef that I just took out, and you want to remove the onion. That way your broth is not as murky. If you keep the onion in there, it will get murky. And so what you're going to do is you're going to boil it overnight. That's how traditional pho is made, but it can be ready in about 6 to 8 hours. So we're just going to let this simmer until it's all done. Okay, so it's the next day, and while it's still simmering, you're going to want to add fish sauce, salt, and some sugar to your taste. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to add some fish sauce. And then, like I said, there's really no exact measurements. You kind of do it until your taste buds are satisfied with how you think it should taste. So we're adding the salt, the sugar, and the fish sauce. And if you added too much of either one, you can always add more water and it'll bring the flavor back down if it's too salty for you. So then you go ahead and give it a taste. Tastes like pho. All right, and while you're waiting for the seasonings to bloom that we just put in the pho broth, you can take that well done steak we took out. You can cut it thinly. That way you can put it on top of your noodles when the broth is done. And then you can take the raw beef and slice it very thinly like this. That way when you pour the pho broth on top of this, it will actually cook it to where it's rare or medium rare and it's nice and tender versus being overcooked. Okay, so when you're putting the raw beef on your pho, the thinly sliced one, try to spread it out as much as you can. That way when you pour the broth, you can coat it evenly and it'll actually cook versus staying raw. You don't want that. All right, so then you take your ladle. You'll see how it starts to cook it, just like that. Try to pour it all over the meat where you placed it. And it'll cook by itself. It's easy as that. All right, as you can see, the rare beef is actually now cooked. So to top your pho, you're going to want to grab some hoisin sauce. You can put as much as you like. I like hoisin sauce a lot, so I put a good heaping on it. You can have sriracha if you want some spice. Of course, we have fresh lime. You can throw it in the soup or you can throw it on the side, whatever you like. I throw mine in there.
You can throw cilantro?
Yeah, you can throw cilantro. Fresh cracked pepper. For the people that don't like cilantro and it tastes like something, you don't have to. It's just a garnish, really. Also, you can have slivered onions in here, mint, bean sprouts. Bean sprouts are hard to come by. We don't have an Asian store near us. So other than that, enjoy your pho. The pho is Zeus approved.